Good evening, everyone. 1 minute late, but it is 7:01 p.m. Time to call the Monday, August 7th, Westfield, Washington Township Advisory Plan Commission meeting to order. If staff will first please confirm the presence of a quorum.
Ms. Berkman?
Here.
Mr. Deck?
Here.
Mr. Horke?
Here.
Mr. Johns? Ms. Kelleher? Mr. Maui?
Here.
Mr. McCarty?
Here.
Mr. Schmitz?
Here.
And Ms. Borjak. We have
Jenny
a quorum.
Kelleher will be joining us virtually momentarily. She just called to let me know. But we do have a quorum, so we can proceed. There are no changes to tonight's agenda. It is as published. Moving on, we have one set of minutes from our July 17th, 2023 meeting for our approval. Do we have a motion for the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 17th, 2023.
Thank you. Do we have a second? A second. Motion from Matt Deck, seconded by Kristen Berkman. If staff would please call the roll, just in case Jenny is joining in and able to vote.
Yes. Ms. Berkman?
Yes.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Mr. Johns? Oh, sorry, he's absent. Ms. Kelleher? Was she virtual?
Apparently not on yet.
Okay.
She was just getting home.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
I'll abstain since I wasn't present.
That has 5, so I believe that passes.
Okay. So minutes are accepted. We have one unusual item this evening. We have a vacancy on our plat committee, which maybe somebody here has forgotten we even have one because we have had so few plat filings to prompt us to have meetings, but I gather that might be changing. But we have a resignation, and we have a gentleman here that we've all had the bio previously to read, and he has volunteered to fill in, or he's been, what is it, voluntold maybe? Yeah. So if anybody has questions, he can come up and introduce himself and answer any, or we can go ahead and accept him if we are so inclined.
Need to make a motion.
Hearing no questions, yeah, sure. Let's move to have our appointment completed here. Do we have somebody here, I believe, willing to go ahead and make one? Mr. Deck?
I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Kelly, is it? Mr. Kelly to the Plat Committee?
Kellen, yeah. Not the football coach. Not during the week. So, all right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second it. Same as with the minutes. Let's go ahead and do a roll call vote on this.
Ms. Berkman?
Yes.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Okay.
Congrats.
Excuse me. Oh, absolutely, yes. If you have a further comment, let's welcome
Thank
them.
you. We appreciate you serving the community. Thank you for doing this.
And hopefully you're the good luck charm here that gets us some plat filings so we can actually meet again. If there are any concerns that you have, staff can bring you up to speed on what it is if you feel like you need anything. One of the first things we did when this committee was constituted in the first place was actually had the longest meeting we were probably ever going to have, just actually to talk about what our responsibilities were. And chances are you're fluent enough in what we do that we can just cover it in questions and answers at the time we meet, but staff is available to give you a little bit of time if you have some things that you'd like to go over ahead of whenever that first meeting might come for you. So welcome aboard and look forward to having a meeting, because that's a good thing, meaning we'll have business to do here. So, all right, that has been attended to. We can go over the rules and procedures for tonight's meeting, which have consent agenda items and an item of business, but no public hearing. Please.
Yes, so for rules of conduct this evening, please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, then we ask you to please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time. If you must answer them, we please request that you quietly exit the room. If you attending in person and wish to speak in regard to a petition scheduled for a public hearing, which this evening there are no public hearings, so that would not be applicable. And then comments. So if you are not attending in person, we just ask that you are visible for voting purposes if Jenny is virtual. We would like to ask everyone that is speaking this evening to speak directly into the microphone so your comments can be put on the record. Also, please mute your microphone when not speaking. If you come to the podium to speak, please ensure that the microphone is on as indicated by the green light on the base. As mentioned, this evening there are no public hearing items. We do have one item of business this evening. So for items that do not require public hearing, the department will summarize the petition and highlight any changes or modifications since the item was last before the Planning Commission. The department will also describe what action, if any, is necessary to be taken. The petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present any changes. And then finally, the commission will then act upon the petition. So that concludes our rules of procedure for this evening.
Thank you. Before we,
I'm here.
okay, thank you for confirming that. Let the record show that Jenny Kelleher, Dr. Kelleher has joined us at 7:08 p.m. So we are ready to do the approval of our consent agenda items. Before we do that, just in case there is anything we need to follow up on, do we know for sure that the representatives from Bonterra are going to be on virtually tonight, or are they on already?
Yeah, this is Scott Kunkel with Hartman Capital. I'm here for the Bonterra.
Okay, perfect. We'll get to you in short order right after the consent agenda items. So we do have two items. Do we have a motion to approve our consent agenda?
Just want to say welcome to Westfield Raising Cane's and welcome back to Westfield Dollar Tree. And with that, make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Motion from Victor McCarty, seconded by David Schmitz. If staff would please call the roll.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Ms. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
And Ms. Berkman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Consent agenda is approved. Moving on to our one item of business, the Bonterra PUD Amendment 1. Petition is 2307-PUD-08. We can have staff summary and then the petitioner's comments.
Thank you, President. For the record, Ryan Collingwood with the Community Development Department. The item presented before you this evening is the Bonterra PUD Amendment 1. The subject real estate is about 2.58 acres in size and is located at the northwest corner of the Bonterra PUD district. This proposed amendment strictly refers to the parcel in which is highlighted in the location map exhibit, located just east adjacent to the existing Indiana Members Credit Union off of State Road 32, excuse me. The Bonterra PUD Amendment 1 proposal outlines additional land uses in which would be permitted to be developed on site, generally including restaurant and retail uses. The amendment also incorporates a concept plan in which ties the building to be substantially similar in size to the one shown in Exhibit B of the proposed ordinance. Since the public hearing discussion on July 5th, the petitioner has provided a survey of the site in response to conversations regarding access rights into the site via the West Drive, which is shown in Exhibit 5. This item is here tonight for a recommendation to the City Council. The petitioners are attending the meeting remotely tonight. They are available for any questions, as am I if you have any for staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Petitioners, are you available for questions, or do you actually have anything to present virtually?
No, we're just available for questions. We appreciate the opportunity to present with you all last time we were there. Really, Ryan summed up the only other issue that popped up at last month's meeting, which was that confirmation of the access easement, which we have now. So I guess just be available for any other questions that might arise.
Okay, and that's fine. Just wanted to make sure you had the opportunity. Are there questions from Plan Commission members for staff or the petitioner?
Bob,
Yeah.
yes, I do have a quick question. When we had discussed this last time, I don't recall discussing a drive-through lane, which I understand might be approved with these new uses, but general office probably would not have had a drive-through lane. And I'm seeing that on the concept plan. I'm just wondering about the proximity to the homes and headlights and those types of things. Does anybody have information on that?
I could speak to that briefly if helpful.
Please.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's obviously for a retail development and with the trend that's heading nowadays, having that ability to accommodate a drive-through user is important. Um, One of the things that we were deliberate about in terms of where the drive-through is located is both the stacking space for the vehicles and then the actual service space will have headlights not pointing towards the residential uses that are to the south of our use or our parcel. In addition, we're pretty aggressive about landscape screening and things of that nature to help to hide that. But really, like I said, given the length of the queuing space we have along the backside of the building, and then the orientation of cars to the north as they approach the drive-through, that should eliminate any issues with headlights shining directly into residential units.
That's satisfactory to you, Kristen? Are you good with that?
What is the proximity to the closest living units? Just from an exhaust standpoint, I mean, it's just different from what this originally was. General office, people come, they park. Just wanting to make sure we don't do something that, isn't favorable for those neighbors, new neighbors that are just getting new homes.
Yeah, I can't give you an exact dimension, but just based off of what we know for our site plan, the closest cars will be about 60 feet north of our property line, and then in between our property and the closest residential is another right-of-way, street setup. So, yeah, I guess I can't tell you exactly what it is, but given another 60 feet right-of-way, it's got to be over 100 feet.
Okay, thank you.
You're good with that? Okay. Any other questions, comments from commission members? Dr. Kelleher, do you have anything you'd like to jump in with here right now?
No, I do not. Thank you.
You don't? Okay.
I would like to make a motion for
Okay.
a positive recommendation to the city council for item 2307 PUD 08.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there a second? Victor, we have a second? Okay, we have a motion from Matt Deck, seconded by Victor McCarty for a favorable recommendation to council. The staff will please call a roll.
Mr. Horke,
Yes.
Ms. Kelleher,
Yes.
do we need to see video for that? Okay. Hey, Jenny, could you turn on your video real fast?
It's on. I'm looking at
Oh,
myself.
really? Okay, it's
Maybe.
not, yeah, it's not showing up for
Showing?
some reason.
I can see you too.
Oh,
Yeah, I can see you too.
Oh, really?
I can see Scott and he can see me.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there, yeah.
Okay, am I on now?
Okay, we can see you now.
It's a,
2 thumbs up.
Okay, thank you. Sorry
Thank
about that.
I would have vouched for you.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Maui,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
yes.
Mr. Schmitz,
Yes.
Ms. Berkman,
Yes.
and Mr. Deck.
Yes.
The motion
Carries.
passes.
Favorable recommendation to council. Thank you.
No, thank you, board. Appreciate your help with this.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, that completes the scheduled agenda items for tonight. There are 2 items continued to future meetings. Taking us then to reports and comments. Are there any questions or comments from Plan Commission members in general for the group? If not, there are no council members present this evening because of a conflicting meeting. There were only a couple of items on last week's council agenda. We'll get a fuller report on that next time. There was no BZA meeting in between our last meeting and now, so there is no update from the BZA. And as we discussed earlier, we haven't had a plat committee meeting in a while, but we now have a full committee again. So we're ready whenever it is that that comes along. Taking us now to Community Development Department. Do you have any words of wisdom for us? Any upcoming things that we need to know about?
Yeah, really nothing to share at this point. We're, I think as I reported maybe last time or the time before to council recently, we are in the middle of doing comp plan analysis as a department. Hope to be able to share some sort of recommendation for scope of work for a comp plan update here in the next 30, 45 days. That's it.
All right. If there's nothing else to come before us, we are ready for a motion for adjournment. Do we have one?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So we have Mr. Dick and Mr. McCarty again. Moving to adjourn. Staff, please call the roll.
Ms. Keller,
Yes.
Mr. Maui,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz,
Yes.
Ms. Berkman,
Yes.
and Mr. Dick.
Yes.
And Mr. Horke votes yes to adjourn too.
And Mr. Horke.
Yes. All right, meeting is adjourned at 7:17 PM.